Title: Park in my driveway, hope you plan to stay the night. This was several years ago when I was living at my parents' house still. I was around 19 at the time. I used to drive an old pickup truck, which I always parked in the street in front of my house as my parents put one car in the garage and the other in driveway on the other side, this way no one was ever blocked in. Our old neighbors used to always have large gatherings of family and friends. Seemed like once a month I would come home and find our street lined with cars all at their house. One weekend, my parents went out of town, which left the driveway open, so I parked in it, because why not? This was on a Saturday. I realized that our neighbors were having people over. No big deal, happens regularly, they are polite and quiet. Their guests will sometimes park close to being in front of our driveway, which is annoying when trying to back out with cars basically surrounding it on all sides. I decided to run and pick myself up some dinner around probably 6 to 7 p.m. I was gone maybe half an hour. When I get back, I noticed that someone was parked right smack in the middle of our driveway. It wasn't just any car though. It was a G-Wagon. I had seen this SUV several times before, usually as one of the cars parked close to the front of our driveway, but this time, they decided to park in our driveway. Could I have gone and asked them to move the car and park elsewhere? Of course I could have. Did I? No. Instead I parked my truck across the entire entrance to the driveway, blocking them in. After a few hours I get a knock at the door. Guess who it is? The car's owner, having the gall to ask me to move my truck so they can leave. I could have moved it, no problem. Instead, I told them as I had already gone and picked up dinner, I had no reason to leave until at least the next afternoon. They asked if I could just move it as they wanted to go home. I told them again, I had no reason to leave and my truck is really loud and I didn't want to disturb the other neighbors by starting it so late at night, and they were welcome to come back for it tomorrow. I left the truck there until around noon the next day. Title: Make my wife, your sister, cry. Enjoy your new Netflix watch list and recommendations. So this just happened a few nights ago. My wife and I flew down to Florida to spend the week at my in-laws. We quarantined at home for a week before leaving and haven't left their house once we got here. My sister-in-law also came, just on a different flight. We eat, we drink, we be merry. Oh, and did I mention that we drink? By about 10 p.m. the ladies, wife, sister-in-law, and mother-in-law are starting to get feisty. The sister-in-law tries to defuse the situation by exerting power and talking down to everyone, mostly my wife since she was actively upset. This just made everything worse. They start screaming at each other and my wife begins bawling. The sister is now actively antagonizing my wife. I finally step in and let them know how fucking stupid it all is. My wife and I head to our guest room. She quickly falls asleep but I'm wide awake. I turn on the TV and notice they have an ancient Roku connected. When I say ancient I mean the processing speed was like late 90s Internet Explorer. I click on the Netflix and when the profiles pop up I see one for my sister-in-law. I proceed to spend the next hour adding random anime movies to her watch list as well as rating them 5 stars. That wasn't enough for me, so I also added and rated a bunch of romantic movies because she is 40 and single without any prospects. Title: You Get a Tow. We were partying in a resort town where every weekend the population quadruples. There's absolutely no parking anywhere for anybody cause there's so many people coming in. We've got all of our people in the house, and we're using the driveway and everything. My sister needed to go to work, but some idiot had parked her vehicle right in front of our driveway, blocking the whole thing, no way to get car out. She needed to go back to work, so we asked every house. We even went around to all the neighbors and asked everybody, hey, did you park here? Can you move your car? We went up and down the street. Not everyone was home, but we tried, probably at beach. To the point she was already an hour late and hadn't even left yet, so we called the tow truck to come and get the car. They towed it, sis left, and then 5 minutes after the tow truck leaves and my sister had left. Ding dong, so do you know where my car is? I answered and said, yeah, it's at the impound, don't block a driveway.